My name is Quillen. I'm 22 years old. I was raised up in a drug-influenced family. I know firsthand the effects and the disaster that drugs has upon a household and the scars that it leaves on each individual. Coming up, I seen my mother and father go through a divorce at a young age. Me and my sisters were torn apart from my family and placed into the court systems. I was kicked out of school on behalf of drugs. I started stealing and robbing. At 18-year-old, I was thrown in jail for 2 years on behalf of drugs. Serving out this sentence, my mother was smothered and killed by an alcoholic. Coming out of jail, my family was really leaning to me for hope. I didn't have any hope. I started using hard drugs. I remember I got lost. I started reaching out for help. I went to rehab, and the rehabs told me that I was on a permanent trip. They said that there was no help for me, that I was non-recoverable. Coming out of rehab, I was hopeless. My family had me placed in a psych ward. I remember coming out with a bag of drugs and just giving up. Soon I started to steal and rob again. I ended back up in jail at 20-year-old, serving another 2-year sentence. Serving this sentence, I started calling out to God. I made a confession of faith. As I returned back to the streets, I was still a confused child, coming up in the curse of a cold world. I rushed into the church. I was reaching out for help because I knew this was my last chance. If I didn't make it, there was no purpose, there was no hope for me. This was it. I know a pastor, the name of Mike Bears, he come into my life and he stepped on the scene. He started discipling me. He started investing in my life. He started coming to my house, giving me jobs around the church to do. He started calling me, praying for me. I remember during one of our sessions, every time I would come, it would always be, man, I failed. Man, I slipped again. I messed up. And I was always looking to him, to be discouraged, to lose hope in me. But he never replied with disappointment. He always encouraged me to do better. Each time. He always kept hope in me. I remember I came in one day and I told him something I'd done that was so bad that I couldn't repeat it. And he knew that it just had to be something so awful. And he told me, he said, I thought you could make it out here. I really hoped that you could. But I really feel like you need to go into this ministry, this Teen Challenge program. And I told him, Pastor, I just served out a 4-year jail sentence. I'm out here going to church being discipled on the streets. If I can't get off drugs out here, how do you expect me to go back to a rehab to come off of drugs? And he told me these words. He said, it's not a drug problem, it's a sin problem. I'm not asking you to go to a rehab to come off of drugs. I'm asking you to go to a discipleship program. That you can get the tools that you need to overcome these things that's holding you down. Man, that made a lot of sense to me. My pastor brought me here September 12th, 2014. I left my family, I left my friends, I left the streets, and I left the drugs behind. And I came to this discipleship to follow Jesus Christ. And since I've been here, God has came into my life. His revelation of His love for me, that He has the hairs of my head numbered. His thoughts towards me are as many as the sands of the sea. Today, I am a new creation. I have been transformed and renewed in the Word. Today I am a child of the one true King.